Hey, and welcome to episode 8 of Poppin' Culture Podcast. We're back at you this week. I'm Jay.
I'm Adrian.
And we're going to be having a little bit different episode this week. As you will know when this goes up, we're not recording at our normal time. It is currently Monday in the Seattle region.
And the Seahawks are up.
Okay.
Don't act like
I
you
haven't
don't
checked
care.
the score in the last few minutes.
I'm telling you.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm letting you know.
We are recording on a Monday because somebody is leaving town tomorrow. So it was this or trying to figure out how to record Skype. And I didn't want to do the extra work.
No, that's too much extra work.
It is. And it's not as fun.
We actually are going to have 2 off weeks because next week we're going to be going to the Boise Comic Con.
Right. Next week's episode very well may be recorded from inside of a car.
I mean, we got the GoPro.
Right, yeah.
Might as well use it.
We'll just hook up the GoPro on the dash like we're in Russia, flip it towards us, and we'll talk.
If it's in Russia, can we call it best podcast in Russia, bro? Hey, look at what we're drinking, buddy.
Okay.
We're drinking Adrian Dragonstooth Stout.
Yes. Apparently this is winner of multiple awards as it's listed on the label there.
So we'll read the label for you because it's a Seattle local beer. Dragonstooth Stout, rich, full-bodied, and complex imperial oatmeal stout. Awards. Gold Award 1999 and 2004. Silver World Cup category 12 2002, 2006, 2007. Gold 2006, bronze 2008.
So it's getting a little worse as it goes? Is that what we're...
Maybe just better beers are coming out.
Okay. Or they're using the same barrel and it's just not holding up.
They didn't realize you bring a different cask every time.
Oh, no, but this is our lucky cask. It won gold and then silver.
Yeah, so this was actually by my recommendation, not because I've had it before. I've never had it before, but I have a song stuck in my head by a band known as Kirby Crackle where they sing about an Elysian Stout. So to hopefully get that song out of my head, I'm going to drink a lot of beer. It's really my method for doing a lot.
Yeah, that's
getting through life is just drink a lot of beer.
Right. It's the Homer Simpson philosophy. Beer, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Oh, beer, I love you.
I did try to taste this while you were talking. It is very good. It's got a nice full body taste to it. It's not too much on the hops. It's not too much on the barley there. It's good.
It is good. I quite like it.
It's got a little bit of creaminess to it. It's got a good thick head on it.
No. Okay, Kyle, keep singing your songs about Elysium. Thumbs up, buddy.
There you go.
All right. Well, let's just jump right into it.
Okay. TV. All right.
Yeah, what do you got?
I did finally watch the episode 2 of Gotham.
Okay, yeah.
You had talked about it last week.
I
hadn't got a chance to watch it yet. I thought it was very good. Definitely a lot less of the Easter eggs than in the first episode.
Yeah.
But there was still a couple in there. There was another potential Joker in there. I don't know if you caught that. I don't know if we talked about this.
I don't recall the potential.
And this is me theorizing that it was supposed to be another one of those plans.
Oh, you guys can turn off your...
Right. I don't know what I'm talking about. But the producer of the show have said in every episode, we're going to allude to somebody who may be the Joker. We're not going to show you the Joker, but we're going to throw hints in there. This person could be, that person could be. So you remember in the first episode, there was the stand-up comedian in the club. That was the first allusion to it. In this one, in the police station, when they're questioning the kid that went through the window, you've got Jim and Harvey. Yes. They're talking. And then you see them push each other, and one of them steps on somebody's shoe. The guy stands up, and he's like, hey, watch the shoes. The guy's in a purple suit.
I didn't notice that.
So he's in the purple suit, the classic Joker costume.
Interesting.
So that was the allusion to the Joker in episode 2. So that was good. You see a lot more of Catwoman in this.
Yes,
obviously.
It's very Selena Kyle-centric.
There was the awkward scene where she's trying to get the one detective to let her talk to Jim Gordon. She's like, touch me or I'm going to... or give me Jim Gordon or I'm going to tell him you touched me. And I'm like, that's a little too far. But I guess if you're a street kid trying to survive, that's something you might do. But I definitely enjoyed the episode. It's keeping a really good pace. There were some things that were in the script that I didn't like. For instance, when Penguin comes up to the guy's house to rent out his trailer.
Yes.
He's in the SUV that he stolen.
Yep.
And the guy's like, oh, hey, you got the Hemi in that thing? Well, it was a Chevy SUV. Hemi is a Dodge engine. It's just those little things.
But those are in like everything. Like that's like the one that always bothers me is in the Ghost Rider movie where he jumps from goalpost to goalpost 100 yards. Well, football field, goal line to goal line's 100 yards.
Right.
You add in the goal post, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's, the script supervisor.
Right. Yeah. But no, it was good. And the third episode will be on tonight, so I'll be watching that later. So as far as kicking off the comic season, I enjoy it. It's a great new show. Definitely something I'm going to be looking forward to watching every week.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm getting really excited for Flash. I know that's coming up soon.
It's coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. But so that's going to be good. So
Now, are you okay? Here's a question for you. You are not caught up on Arrow yet.
no, because it's not out yet.
No, it comes out on Netflix Instant Watch on Wednesday, the day that season 3 premieres, which is stupid. But knowing that The Flash is a spin-off during season 2 of Arrow, are you going to watch it from the beginning, or are you going to wait until you've seen that episode of...
No, I'm jumping right into The Flash.
Okay.
You know why? It's like Laverne and Shirley was a spin-off of Happy Days. So was Mork and Mindy. I didn't care about Happy Days. I watched every episode of Laverne and Shirley. Hey, Fonz, I don't care. But Laverne and Shirley, I should put a little A on all my clothes too.
Because Scarlet Letter?
Because Laverne had the L in all her...
Oh, I didn't watch Laverne and Shirley.
Oh.
So I also started, or kept watching season 5 of Pretty Little Liars. I am through episode 5. So I'm almost halfway through what's aired so far on season 5.
Okay.
So, and then we watched another episode of Revenge season 3, episode 2.
Have you watched any of the new fall lineup TV shows yet?
No.
Oh, really? None?
No.
Okay, because I watched a couple.
What did you watch?
Okay, so not to unless you were done. I don't
that
want
was it.
to.
That
I don't
was
want to
all I
step
got.
on your TV reviews.
And I watched more Office. I'm almost done with that.
Oh, what do you? Okay, hold on. Before we get to the new fall stuff, what do you think so far of The Office?
So far, it's good. Actually, I kind of exaggerated when I said I'm almost done. I'm only 4 episodes into the season.
Damn it.
So I just saw the work bus episode,
Oh yeah,
which was pretty good.
yeah, with the pies.
Yeah.
So season 8 starts off strong and just
Yeah, that's what I hear.
yeah. Okay.
So I'm still in the good part.
All right. So let me know when you get literally almost 3/4 of the way through, and then we can talk about it. I watched a couple of the new fall TV shows. Last Man Standing's back.
Okay.
So
And were you caught up on it?
oh yeah,
Okay.
caught up on that.
Good.
Really, season 4 is good. So ranking season 1 was still the best. 2 steadily dropped off.
Okay.
3 came back, and 4's I'm good with 4 still.
How many episodes are we into 4 so far?
Just 2.
2. Okay.
But still better than the first 2 of season 2, so amen. I watched one called A to Z.
I feel like I read a synopsis of this.
Yeah. It's a rom-com. It's about a guy and a girl. The girl, the mother from How I Met Your Mother is in it, whose name I wish I could remember. I can't.
Nobody knows.
No. And then guy who nobody knows. It's nobody.
No. I remember why I know this. Because it's essentially the same plot as How I Met Your Mother.
No. And kind of.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
A little bit.
They start dating at the very end of the first episode. So it's not How I Met Your Mother. They're boom. And they tell you exactly in X amount of days they will get married.
Okay.
So it's happening.
So instead of leading up to when he finds the mother, it's leading up to the wedding that they know is going to happen. But it's still going to be all the quirky little stories that happen between the first date and the wedding.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And isn't every rom-com like that, though?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Melissa and Joey's like that. 3 episodes into Melissa and Joey, you're just waiting for them to end up together. So
Yeah.
all rom-coms are like that. Did you ever watch Pushing Daisies?
No.
Okay. For those of you who watch Pushing Daisies, it's actually a lot like that. The narrator is very similar. The humor, the cinematography, it's all very similar to Pushing Daisies. In fact, when I watched it, I was really curious, is it the same people who did Pushing Daisies? And then for some reason, my tablet died, and I had no way to IMDb it, and it slipped my mind till now.
Okay.
So, if you like Pushing Daisies, you like A to Z. The other one that we watched that I probably won't continue to watch, but Jess will, was Selfie.
Yeah, with a name like that, I didn't have any interest.
So, Karen Gillan, not the British writer, Karen Gillan.
The British actress.
The Scottish actress. They didn't succeed, so.
That's true.
Yeah. So, Karen Gillan is in it, nailing her American accent.
I was going to say, I know she has no accent in it. So
No, none at all. The reason I was in it was because Cho's in it. The guy from Harold and Kumar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that dude cracks me up. He played Sulu in the new Star Trek.
Right.
Yeah, I love that guy. So I watched it because of him. It was funny enough, not enough to keep me watching it. The whole premise is this girl was, the ugly duckling in high school. In fact, like it was, best smile.
Right.
All their hers was rated just butt, just butt. So she calls herself Butt a lot. And the whole premise is she thinks she's popular because she has all these Twitter followers and all this, like Facebook and everything else. She doesn't have any real friends. Things go awry, and now she realizes she needs to be a real person.
Okay.
So she goes to Cho to be like, hey, you're our marketing guru. You can sell anything. Can you sell me as being a good person? So by the end of the first episode, you're like, well, they're eventually going to end up together. It's very clear. So there was a couple funny parts, like the way they referenced to hipsters and that kind of stuff was funny, but not enough to keep me going.
Okay.
Jess is 100% in though. Loves it.
She's the market audience for that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because they talk about stuff like I didn't even know. Like, I don't follow Pinterest, but I know what it is.
Right.
But they had this other, like, I wish I remember what the app was called. Jess has it, and she's going to kill me for not remembering. But, like, you choose your different outfits, and, like, you choose a jacket from this website, a pant from that website, and it brings it all together. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. I can't think of the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Right? Like, you should know the name of it. It begins with a P.
Yeah, you shouldn't know the name of it. But yeah.
I listen to my wife when she talks sometimes.
Doesn't mean you need to remember it.
No.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's all that kind of stuff. So not for me. And the other show I'm really happy that's back is The Goldbergs.
Okay, I've heard of The Goldbergs. I've never watched it. Somebody last week freaked out when I told them I'd never seen an episode because we were watching Bob's Burgers.
Oh, it's so good.
They're like, have you watched The Goldbergs? I'm like, no. They're like, why not?
It's true. Why not, Jay?
I have so many other things to watch.
Fucker, get on it. Like,
I'll add it to my list.
It's hilarious. Like, the kids are funny. It's like everyone, really, the mom steals the show. Like, I just want to see what she's going to do next. It's fantastic. It's funny. It's quirky. Like, I remember before it came out, it was in the movie theaters. Like, they were pushing it hard in the movie theaters. And usually when they do that,
it's not going to be so good.
It's not going to be so good.
There's a reason they're trying to push it so
hard. And they were pushing it hard.
Like the bad fish at the end of the week. Push the fish, push the fish.
But it was good. It's been really good. Like, and season 2 seems to be even better than season 1. I really enjoyed season 1.
Okay.
So definitely suggest you watch it.
All right, I'll see what I can find.
Watch any movies this week?
I did not. I actually had a really busy week this week, so I didn't really. Like I said, I watched some Pretty Little Liars. I watched Sons of Anarchy because it's fantastic. I didn't get to watch a lot this week. It was a crazy week for me.
We had plans to go to the movie theater. In fact, twice we were going to have dinner and then go to the movie theater. Twice after dinner, we realized what time it was and how much we had left to do. I'm not going to be home for 3 weeks, so there's still so much we had left to do. So both times the movie got cut out.
Okay.
So we did go home.
But how was Red Robin?
Anthony's.
Okay.
I wish we had Red Robin for dinner today. You know what? So we had 5 guys for dinner because we were on this whole kick of no longer gorging ourselves.
Right.
So we ordered the smallest burger possible, no fries, like only one small, and it was so disappointing. And what did I say, Jay? Do you remember what I said?
You said, I'm sorry, and I feel bad for cheating on Red Robin.
That's right. Fucking love Red Robin. Oh, it's so good.
Now I just want pretzel bites and cheese dip.
Do you want to go when this is over?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm in. What was I saying?
Movies.
Movies. So we wanted to see Gone Girl, and we wanted to see Box Trolls.
Okay.
And every time it was like, we're at dinner, and she's like, I have a bunch of laundry to do. How much do you have to do? I'm like, well, enough for 3 weeks worth of stuff, so a lot.
So it's one pair of jeans and like 12 T-shirts.
That's pretty much, what I pack, because apparently I need to buy more than one pair of jeans. I don't
get it.
We had this talk earlier at Special Brews.
Right.
Like, why? Why do I need more than one pair of jeans? When they get dirty, I throw them in the washer. I go to bed. I wake up. They're dry, and I get to go about my day in my jeans. They're clean.
See, that's what I have shorts for. I'm in cargo shorts 90% of the time.
Okay.
So I have like 3 pair of cargo shorts, a pair of jeans. I cycle through. I'm good.
So the reason I don't wear my cargo shorts is I always tend to wear those at shows when I'm working. So then by the time I get home, they go in the wash, and then the dirty clothes, I don't wear them. I have my pair of jeans. We're really off topic.
Right. So you didn't make it to the movies.
No, but
did you watch any movies at home?
Yeah, so instead, while doing the the chores and the laundry. We watched Star Wars Episode 3.
Oh.
Why? Oh.
To be fair, at least it wasn't Episode 1.
As far as the prequels are concerned, it's the best of the prequels.
But that's like saying Jeffrey Dahmer was the best of the serial killers.
He was. Oh, can you edit that out, please?
No, I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
I forgot how to do that. So, you watched Episode 3 because you only slightly hate your life.
Look, I love Star Wars. And even the prequels, I love them for what they are. Like, I don't pretend that they're good, but I still love them.
Okay.
So, yeah, I watched that. And it's a love-hate relationship with that. Because, not to geek out on a geek, podcast.
No, I think that's the whole purpose.
This is the point to do it. I love the Anakin character everywhere but those freaking movies.
Okay.
Like, in the novels, he's awesome. In the comics, he's great. In the Clone Wars cartoon series, still pretty good. In the movies, though, horrible. And it really breaks my heart. I'm like, why are you such a whiny bitch? Like, I just read you in this novel where you're going around busting ass and it was great. And now you're like, meh.
Damn you, Hayden Christensen.
It's not even, I don't blame Hayden Christensen. I blame George Lucas.
Ooh.
Remember this face, Lucas.
Those are fighting words.
What?
Nothing.
I was trying to think of a clever fist names, and all I had was Captain America and Iron Man.
Okay.
What are yours?
I got nothing.
Really? You don't have your fist names?
No.
What? Why?
Iron Fist and Tower Man? I don't know. I got nothing. I don't name my hands.
Hey, what? Let's talk
about
the comics we have
all right,
here.
so instead of...
So apparently we cannot do this Monday nights.
No. Monday night is not a good night.
This is not a good night for
So
us.
instead of reviewing new comics, because there hasn't been any new comics since our last episode, we decided to go a different route this week. We are talking about the first comics that we ever had.
Yes.
The gateway drugs into the comic kingdom.
I will start with mine.
Okay.
My gateway was Green Lantern Emerald Twilight, published in 1994, written by Ron Martz and art by Bill Willingham. His art is most well known for being in Fables.
Right.
And Ron Martz is most famous for making Kyle Rayner the greatest Green Lantern ever. He wrote pretty much all of Kyle Rayner's run for 10 years before he left DC Comics. I got this at the Walden Books across from Paradise Valley Mall when I was just a wee lad. So this came out in 94, which means I would have been a whole 12 years old when I got this. So I've been reading comics very consistently since then. The whole premise, and you and I had this talk, it explains why I love Kyle Rayner so much and why I don't care about Hal Jordan. The premise of Emerald Twilight is Coast City, Hal Jordan's home has been destroyed. Oh, I'm sorry. 20-year-old spoiler.
Yeah. Oh, careful.
Sorry, guys. Coast City's been destroyed. Hal Jordan kind of loses his shit and wants to bring it back. So he creates the entire city with his ring. Now, obviously, that's just not enough power to sustain it. So he loses his ring, and the Guardians are forcing him to come home. So he goes back to Oa, and on the way kind of loses his marbles and kills every Green Lantern encountering him on his way there for more power.
We all have bad days.
Yeah, look, if my home city got destroyed too, I might cut a bitch. And he just cut a lot of bitches.
Yeah, I'm from Everett. I wouldn't mind.
Oh. But what if, we lost, like, Seattle?
Then I'd be pissed.
Right?
You don't mess with my hipster city.
Oh, my God, you're such the hipster, too.
So what happens next?
So what happens is, essentially, he goes through, he kills everybody, he makes his way to Oa. The Guardians decide, well, the only person who can stop him is Sinestro.
Oh.
So, yeah,
that looks freaky.
That's 90s Sinestro, dude.
Yeah.
So what happens is he goes all, like, straight up man, takes off all of his rings but one. Sinestro has his one ring, and they just go toe-to-toe at it. He essentially loses it when he snaps Sinestro's neck and kills him. He goes into the power battery, loses all control, takes all the power, and becomes Parallax. It's the first time we ever see Parallax.
Right.
So he leaves, flies off. All the Guardians have been destroyed, and they're on their way out. And there's only one left who's somewhat cognizant, Ganthet. And they put all their power into him. He creates one last ring. and he goes and finds somebody wearing this Nine Inch Nails t-shirt from the 90s and gives him a power ring. And this is how we get Kyle Rayner.
Right.
So my first introduction to Green Lantern is Hal Jordan going crazy, killing every Green Lantern, killing the people who run the Green Lanterns, becoming a villain. And then the last hope, Kyle Rayner. So that's my introduction to Green Lantern. That was my introduction to comic books and my introduction to Kyle Rayner.
Okay. So you and I talked earlier. We have very different first exposures to the Green Lantern.
Absolutely.
My first exposure, when I first started really reading Green Lantern, was with Green Lantern Rebirth, technically 2004.
Right.
Which spawned the new Green Lantern series, 2005, by Jeff Johns, where Hal Jordan was depicted as the hero. He was the greatest of the Green Lanterns. He was their best warrior, everything like that. It wasn't until after that I went back and read Volume 3, which is the Kyle Rayner run.
Yeah.
And every other issue in that run, he's getting the ultimate power. He's being set up as the savior of everybody.
Because he is, like, literally the savior of everybody.
Right. Okay. So because of that, I have this distaste for Kyle Rayner. Your first exposure to Green Lantern was Hal Jordan going batshit crazy and Kyle Rayner being the one to come save the day. So we have totally opposite views on the two, which is why I hate Kyle Rayner for obvious reasons.
And for me, this ends at issue 50. Kyle becomes a Green Lantern. Well, he ends Green Lantern's number 50 here, but it's the last panel. So really 51 to 180 is Kyle Rayner's run as Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I own every issue. I picked it up every month that came out. So for me, if you do the math, 12 issues a year, we're looking at 130 issues. Like, I have a huge relationship with Kyle Rayner.
11 years.
Yeah, a huge relationship with Kyle Rayner. And then when they brought Hal Jordan back, I'm like, well, why?
Right.
Like, I don't care about that. So yeah, for you to come on board with Hal Jordan, it's a completely different experience. Like, totally, I understand that.
Right. So I'm going to go. The first issue I ever really read of a comic, and it's funny. I found this. I had watched the '90s X-Men cartoon show, and then one day I was grocery shopping with my mom, and I was having a look at the magazine rack, or whatever, and I saw an X-Men comic book on there. The funny thing is, it was an Albertsons grocery store, and we talked earlier.
We did talk earlier.
Coincidentally, some of your first comics also came from the rack at the Albertsons grocery store.
So my dad got me this at a Walden Books, and I could every now and then convince him to get me a trade paperback at a Walden Books, back when they still existed. But my monthly, single issues, absolutely came from Albertsons. Yeah. No doubt.
And I was young enough that I was able to get my mom to buy them for me because it was either I sit there and I read it while she goes shopping, or I'm walking behind her like, are we done yet? Are we done yet? Are we done yet? Are we done yet? So to her, what was the cover price back then? $1.95 was a good investment to not have to deal with me. So my first issue that I ever owned.
Speaking of price, really fast, so I pulling that out. Trade paperback. $5.95.
Yeah, I paid almost that much for Godhead #1.
Yeah,
for a single issue.
That's kind of the point I'm getting at here.
So my first issue, cover date on it is May '96, which means it probably was actually February '96 because it's usually 2 to 3 months ahead of time.
No, it's like only 1 month now.
But back then I feel like it was about 2 to 3 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Because so now we have previews, right?
Yeah, of course.
Previews are about 3 months ahead.
Yes,
back then, instead of having previews, they were just like, here's the issue. This is technically our issue for 3 months from now. And I bet if I looked
at the printing date by the letters.
Yeah, there's probably a date in here of
when it went to print.
Well, it still says May '96.
Yeah.
But somewhere, if I looked this up, it'd probably hit stands 2 to 3 months before that. So anyways, this is X-Men Volume 2, number 52, The Agony of Memory, with a great cover of Bishop.
So you were talking about the art. Can I flip through this
real
fast?
Go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
Cool.
So it's funny. Adrian and I were talking probably 2-3 months ago before we started the show about Mark Waid and how Mark Waid, what is he doing these days? Turns out my first issue was a Mark Waid written X-Men issue, which I didn't know he ever actually wrote X-Men. The art in here, I believe, I said earlier, I believe I was correct, is Joe Mad.
No, Andy Kubert.
Andy Kubert, that's right. Joe Mad did something else.
Here's the crazy thing, though. It doesn't look like his art.
No, he's evolved so much. This was post-Age of Apocalypse, so you've got Dark Beast running around. It starts out as a story of Gambit and Bishop trying to stop a runaway train. that has been rigged with some sort of explosive. One of the first pages, you see Gambit using his kinetic. He's absorbing the kinetic energy of the movement of the train, and he's going to put it into Bishop, who can absorb energy. That's their plan for stopping the train. And the art is crazy. You see like Gambit's hair's everywhere, and his kinetic energy, which is pink, is just like all over the place.
It's awesome.
He ends up passing out, and so does Bishop, and then they get abducted by Mr. Sinister, and then Dark Beast comes in. And at the time, I was like, oh, this is a really good story, because I'd never read anything else. Gambit was one of my favorite characters from the cartoon, sure. So it's interesting to see him in something outside of the cartoon where he's actually one of the main characters. But so this was my first comic. I was like, oh, this is great. And then next week, we went back to the grocery store, and it was the same comic sitting on the shelf. And I'm like, why is it the same comic? I didn't know that it was monthly. But actually, on the plus side, they carried X-Men and Uncanny X-Men.
Okay.
Which came out. So this would come out 1 week, 2 weeks later. Uncanny X-Men would come out. So every 2 weeks, I was getting a new comic for $1.95. I was able to get quite a big collection that way. They do have a preview in here for the Generation X TV show from the 90s.
Man, that was so
and this
bad.
was announcing the premiere of it. So it's before it was even on. It premiered. Here you go. It premiered in February '96, which means this was definitely out in February-ish, not May.
This was 90.
So there you go. You got an ad for something that came out 3 months before the date. So probably early February is when it actually came out. So that was my first comic that I willingly, knowingly picked up.
Do you remember that show?
I never watched it.
Really?
I really want to go back and watch it, but I never did.
It's so bad, but also the most appropriate White Queen you'll ever see.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And they've got ads in here for Virtua Fighter, the arcade game. I think I saw something in here for
East Coast Comics.
Yeah. Street Fighter Alpha. And then the back page, for those of you that ate breakfast cereal in the mid-90s, the Spider-Man breakfast cereal, which, as I told you, I would beg my parents to buy me. It tasted like cardboard, but it was Spider-Man, so it was cool.
So essentially, for those of you who don't know, it was Chex cereal with the marshmallows from Lucky Charms.
It was like Crispix. It's got the hexagonal. It's like a Crispix.
Okay, but essentially the same thing.
And that cereal came and went for a few years. But the different marshmallows were Spidey tracers and cameras and things like that. Pumpkin bombs from the Hobgoblin. So that was the first issue that I got knowingly from my collection.
Right. Now you have another one here.
I do have another one because coincidentally, a few years after I started reading comics, I found an old box of things that I had been given as a kid that I didn't care about because I was like 3. And in that box was Green Lantern, Volume 2, number 175 from 1982.
Now, we talked about this one recently because there's the tiger shark on the cover.
Yes, tiger shark on the cover. It was by Len Wein, art by Dave Gibbons, guest starring The Flash. And if this had been the first comic that I ever read, I probably wouldn't have kept going. Not because it's terrible, but just the story in itself is very outdated.
Because it was so different back then.
The art, it's definitely early 80s art. It's the cheaper card or the cheaper paper stock. A lot of word balloons. But
okay, hold on. Sorry, for those of you who can't see that. Does she not look like identical to Anne Hathaway?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Carol in this looks identical to Anne Hathaway in that.
Right. So yeah, it's I don't even remember what the story's about per se. There's like a rainbow guy, but yeah, Flash shows up. There's some fighting, whatever. But it's kind of funny for me to think that even not knowing it at the time, the first comic I ever actually had, not one that I sought out, but the first one I had was a Hal Jordan Green Lantern.
There you go.
And now that's one of my favorite superheroes. So, and just the idea of Tiger Shark is funny. A definitely humanoid person with a shark head and a giant fin in his back.
But he made the comeback in Jeff Johns' series in the 2000s.
He did come back for a brief time. So, so those were the first 2 comics that the first comic I ever actually owned that I didn't realize at the time, and then the first one that I actually sought out. And this was the beginning of my run. I have everything from 52 through, I want to say, like 90.
Okay.
So that's a good 3 years worth. It was about that time that I stopped being able to persuade my parents to buy them for me.
Right, and we had this talk. Let's go about it. So I made the comment that everybody at some point gives up on comics for a little while.
Right.
Yours was due to financial as a child. So tell them
I
what,
didn't have a job.
how you got your comics as a kid as compared to how I got mine.
So mine were legally purchased with funds from my parents. Like I said, to keep me quiet while they were shopping. All of them were purchased at the Albertsons, as long as we shopped there. And then eventually they stopped buying them. The Albertsons closed down. We started going somewhere else that didn't have them. But I have a good few years worth from. I still have all of them. I haven't gotten rid of any of them. I got a few years worth from that time. Whereas you procured yours in a different manner.
I did. Also from Albertsons, though.
Right.
So on Friday nights, I'd go stay the night at my buddy Brian's house. And we would sneak out at night when we were too young to really leave at night on our own. And we'd sneak off to Albertsons to go buy candy. So we'd go buy a thing of Skittles or different flavors Skittles. So all we had was, for some reason, Skittles with movies on Friday nights. Because his dad would let us watch horror movies.
Okay.
And we're talking like Bordello of Blood, like Demon Knight, where things like 13-year-old boys should not be watching, but we got to watch them anyways. So we thought it was the greatest thing in the world. So to continue our streak of, hoodlum with horror movies, we went and bought Skittles, and we would steal the comic books that week.
Okay.
Not a lot, but I religiously stole Nightwing and Green Lantern until I got money to, justifiably buy them.
Right.
Albertsons, you guys are still in business, so clearly I didn't put you out of business with my stealing of the comic books. All things told, I owe you maybe $60.
Right.
I'll send you a check. Call me, tell me where to send it. I'll do it. Swear.
And it's funny. So I had my gap.
Yeah, you had your gap.
I had my gap. It started when I was probably about 12, 13. Because this first issue, I was 9 when this came out. February 96, I was 9. I had my gap until I turned 18, was working full-time, and I'm like, hey, I got all this money, I don't have any bills, I'm going to go buy comics. It luckily turned out that gap was the Grant Morrison run on X-Men.
The new X-Men?
Yeah. So I have like 1 or 2 issues that I picked up occasionally from that, but I got to skip most of that. So I don't have the Zorn issues, I don't have any of that crap. So I guess if I was going to choose the time to step out of comics, that would be the time.
I have the Grant Morrison new X-Men complete set in one huge leather-bound omnibus if you want to borrow that, buddy.
Yeah, no, my table's a little crooked. I need something to stick under there.
Wow. Look at, I'm reading it. Like, I really am. Because it's the whole, I'm reading it for different reasons.
Okay.
I'm not reading it because I need to get me some Grant Morrison. Like, if I had to list my top 5 least favorite writers, Grant Morrison tops that list. I'm reading it because of my love of Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Emma Frost. And that's that whole...
And mental affairs.
Well, that's the only affair you're allowed to have, right?
I'm not married. I don't know.
Oh, Jess, come on. But no, so like I'm reading it for not the story as so much as, I guess, not the story writing, but the story because it plays such a pivotal role in things that are still going on now.
Okay.
That I want to know the details of the backstory.
Fair enough. How much did you pay for that?
Jess bought it for me.
So you paid exactly the right price?
I paid the perfect price for it.
Yes. Fantastic.
That's right.
Okay.
I paid exactly what Grant Morrison comics are worth.
I think he needs to just send those to people with a handwritten apology on the inside cover. I'm sorry, I'm English. Here you go.
You just get a list of everybody who wrote Final Crisis and just my apologies for reading Final Crisis, Grant Morrison. My apologies for reading Final Crisis, Grant Morrison.
I have a buddy that just bought the 7 issues of the Final Crisis.
Why? Why?
He got them for cheap. I don't know. I asked him, are you going to read all the tie-ins too? He's like, oh, there was tie-ins? I'm like, yeah, I have the binder of it at home if you want it. Because I was a sucker. I bought all 87 issues of that.
Wow.
It might not have been that many, but it was close.
No, it was close too.
Yeah.
Like, there were some of the tie-ins were really good. Like, I remember the Legion Superheroes one was really good.
Yeah. The Superman one's not so great.
No, the Superboy one was good.
Yeah. But then there was all the Aftermath too.
Aftermath, and that led to 52 when it was that one.
Yeah, I got all those too.
Yeah, see?
I was a sucker. Like I said, I had dispensable income. I was buying everything.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we before we go, since we are running long, did you read Godhead?
I did.
And just really fast, yay or nay, how are you feeling on it?
I I have hopes for it. What I don't want to see is all of these recent Green Lantern huge story arcs we've seen has been, oh, this is the new biggest, baddest thing we've ever faced. How are we ever going to overcome it? Oh, hey, we just overcame it. So if it turns into that with the new gods, I don't want to see it. I don't want all of a sudden the Green Lanterns to be like, oh, I figured out their weakness. Pew, done. I don't think it's going to be because
I don't think it is either.
It's a huge 3-act thing. At the end of the day, I don't think anything's going to change, though.
I don't think anything's going to change. I think it's going to be one of those things where my enemy of my enemy is my friend, and they're going to obviously join up with the new gods against Darkseid or the multiverse of some sort. Right. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. How do you think about how Sinestro kept his rig?
I thought it was kind of a douche move.
But how awesome of a douche. Yeah. Like, that is like...
Oh, wait. The prophecy says they're going to come kill me. Hey, you want to go meet these guys? I got a pizza to cook.
And then...
Yeah.
And then Larfy's without his ring now.
Right.
The green. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. That'll be it for us, though, since we are running short. We still got to go pack.
Right.
Well, again, next week will be another early week episode. Like Jay had mentioned, we have the GoPro. We might be doing it from the car on our drive to the Boise Tree City Comic Con. If not, maybe from the hotel room.
Or the bar.
Oh, that's a good idea. We can just do it from the hotel bar.
Right? We're going to be those weird people in the corner with the camera, but...
We can record on the laptop, on the webcam.
That's true.
Yeah, totally. You guys are going to love it.
It'll be great.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
If you think we drink too much now.
Oh, my God. You should see us when we're out of town.
Especially on somebody else's dime.
Woo! Thanks, work. All right, guys. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
See you.
Bye.